How's it going, everyone? It's SavageSkull, and welcome back to I Just Saw. And I just saw Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And as always, spoilers ahead for the movie that I'm reviewing. Because I just recently saw it, I had a lot of fun with it. And honestly, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is one of the most fun and visually pleasing movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'll get to what I like, what I didn't like, but I think we should start off with some of my critiques of the movie itself. One of the things I didn't really like was just the way the movie was paced. Throughout the journey, it feels like that some of it was cut, but some of it feels dragged out. There's a certain scene where he finds one of his alternate selves in an alternate universe, and he has to walk up the stairs to find him, and this shot is just dragged out. I don't know why they took so long filming him walk up the stairs, but that's what they chose to go with. It doesn't really add to the drama because it's just drug on for so long. It's like twice as long as it probably should be, and it doesn't help the drama whatsoever. And the other thing is, some of the movie feels like it just takes leaps forward in what it's trying to do. Parts of the movie just feel like they were just chunks cut out of it. I can't tell if this movie was 3.5 hours long and they just needed to take bits and pieces out of it and compress it into a 2 hour long movie, or this movie was originally like 1 hour long and they needed to, cram some stuff in. Some parts feel crammed and other parts feel insanely rushed. It's just bizarre and it's weird. The other thing I didn't really like about the way the movie was paced is just it didn't seem like it read a whole cohesive story. Some parts of action that should have gotten more screen time and more, video didn't get that much, and some things that felt more important got little, and some things that felt too little got way more screen time than they probably should have. That's my only complaints about, pacing. I don't think it would have done better as a Disney Plus series, just because it may have seemed like there was a lot of source material crammed into this thing, or not enough. But in the end, I don't think there would be enough to warrant an entire miniseries. Would I watch a Doctor Strange miniseries on Disney Plus? Absolutely. That sounds like a really good idea. I'll watch another movie if it comes out. But honestly, if this one was expanded, it wouldn't work out, and if this one was compressed anymore, it would just be. So it was kind of like the happy medium that they found, but the happy medium they found was just a compromise. The other thing I didn't like was one of the main characters. I think her name was America Chavez. Because they made her a MacGuffin. Anyone who doesn't know what a MacGuffin is, it's a object or thing that drives the whole movie's plot. Like something they're gonna grab. I don't know why they decide to make the MacGuffin a person. MacGuffins aren't usually people. Other examples for MacGuffins, for people who are unaware, is the Sith Wayfinder in the hilariously bad Rise of Skywalker Star Wars movie, or the Allspark, or any other numerous magic objects in any of the Transformers movies. And if you want a Marvel movie example, the Tesseract in the Avengers is the MacGuffin of that movie. So it's weird that the MacGuffin is a person, and it doesn't really fit with the story they told or what they set up. They set up this movie through two other projects. They set it up through WandaVision on Disney Plus and Spider-Man No Way Home in theaters, where, the multiverse breaks at the end of that movie. And at the end of WandaVision, in a post-credit scene, Wanda is seen on a little farm, which you see in this movie more, practicing an incantation, which we learn later in the movie, is used to explore the multiverse. And they kind of took that and this new America Chavez character and crammed America into it, and they took what they had built from No Way Home and WandaVision and chucked it out the window. It's kind of weird. I don't like that they took other ways. I would have liked to seen it like Wanda is able to explore the multiverse now that Doctor Strange and Spider-Man helped crack it open, and they're vying for control over who has power over it. The characters could still have the same motivation, but if they just cut that character out, it would just be so much easier, because it feels like the things that happen to this character should not happen and would not happen to a real person. Either way, there's something about it that just rubs me the wrong way. I would rather the MacGuffin be an object like a book or some magic, artifact they have to grab in order to travel the multiverse. But it being this kid, it doesn't really resonate with me. Also, it's a kid we've never even seen before. Like, whenever there was tension building up between, is she going to survive? Is she going to die? I just found myself not caring. I felt nothing. I did have this idea. If they had Ned Leeds, a character that we've known throughout since 2017 when he was introduced, and he has recently in Spider-Man No Way Home learned that he can control magic, that would just be so cool. If he had like this multiversal explore power thing, then whenever he was in danger, I would feel something. You know, like if it was a character we got to know, every time the character was in danger, I would feel something. But since it's this new character, every time she was about to be killed or she was about to die or fall off something, I felt nothing. I just felt like I don't care if this person dies, because then the movie would just be over and that's it. The movie would honestly be 15 minutes if America just died right away, which is something that's kind of weird to say. But I don't really know the character all that much. I don't know how the character deals with the comics or what would happen if she did die. Maybe she has died in the comics. Comic book readers, don't come after me on that one, okay? The other thing I didn't like is just, you know, it's just all fan service now. You could rename Spider-Man No Way Home and Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness to Fan Service 1 and Fan Service 2. There just isn't room for a story anymore when Marvel is just, you know, obeying and leaning into what the fans want to hear or want to see. There's nowhere for a coherent plot or a coherent story to be written anymore. The Avengers movies used to be like this cursor to everything we've seen and like all the heroes coming into one. But now that there's no Avengers movies, there's no more build up to these movies. It's just going on and on and on and expanding with no end or team up movie in sight. It's insanely weird to feel nothing when these movies end. And the post-credit scene used to be this cool thing that, you know, adds to the movie, or only the people who read the comics or watch the weird TV shows will know. Now the post-credit scene is just like 5 minutes of movie they didn't show before they cut to black. It's just weird. I don't really like the way Marvel's going, which I talked about in this video, which you can see in the top right hand corner right now. Go check it out if you haven't. But without the negativity, let's go back to the things that I did enjoy about this movie. And don't get me wrong, I really, really enjoyed this movie. This is one of the most probably rewatchable and fun Marvel movies we've seen in the last few years, because it just looks pleasing. Like, the director Sam Raimi did a great job of taking this source material and just making it look great. It looks great. And the horror elements are great, and the action elements are phenomenal, and the CGI blows my mind every time. Every time I go see one of these superhero movies, it's always the special effects that just takes a leap in evolution. I like to think that these are just, you know, little TV shows, just like, here's how far we've come from VFX, starting from the Iron Man suit in Iron Man to the massive, you know, massive. If you see some of the scenes, you'll think, wow, this looks photoreal, but it is mostly, if not all, computer generated. And it's just super cool. I like what they're doing with that. It's just taking leaps in storytelling and leaps in the way movies are made, and it's just so cool. I like how Disney does that with their Star Wars projects, like The Mandalorian, or the new way movies are being shot, to these with the new way movies are being edited, and, you know, CG has come a long way, and it might be because of these movies. I mean, they win visual effects Oscars every single year, so, you know, leave it up to a Marvel movie, and especially a Doctor Strange movie, to just show how cool that visual effects can be used. Also, I really, really like it just because I'm sick and tired of seeing, you know, movie producers blow budgets on massive explosions, pun intended. But yeah, it's just really, really a visually pleasing movie. And the horror elements are great in this movie, and the action elements are too. I think I mentioned that already, but they're just kind of like vying for control. It feels like whenever there's a horror scene and then it jumps right to an action scene, it feels abrupt, and vice versa. You go from action to just straight up horror, and it just feels awkward. Anyone who's watched the movie knows exactly the scene I'm probably about to explain, is when Wanda is like kind of chasing them very slowly, kind of like a Slenderman-esque creature following you, and then all of a sudden it's like super scary, there's tension building, and then the jump scare is perfect, and then all of a sudden the characters drop through the door and they're thrown into this mystical, whimsical wonderland where they grab a book or something. Just super bizarre. It doesn't feel like it makes sense, the line between horror and action. I wish that the director and the movie makers, the writers, had to just make either really rely on horror for this one, like it was teased in 2019, or really rely on action for this one. It feels like an imbalance. Either way, the elements of action and horror were insanely good. It's just the imbalance that throws me off, you know, when talking about this movie. I also really liked the acting in this movie was good, and, you know, some of the twists that came in were just insane. And if you haven't seen this movie, you just got it spoiled for you, but you should go check it out for yourself, because I really liked it. All in all, I think I rate this a 7 out of 10. And my tagline for the movie would be, "What is going on?" Because visually and storytelling wise, you won't be able to tell what is going on. It truly was a multiverse of madness. So thank you for watching. If you haven't seen the movie yet, please go check it out if you haven't. It's like really good, and you should support it by going to see movies. Support the director and as well as the people who spent a lot of time making it. Don't be afraid to hit the subscribe button. It's free and you don't have to be subscribed forever. And as always, I'm SavageSkull, and I'll see you on the flip side.